Okay, now taking the top off, you can see I've actually sprayed it inside the front parts. I didn't need to do this, but I had some paint in me airbrush and I thought I'd use it up, and I'll just tap these over just in case. Murphy's Law, if I didn't do it I'll probably see grey plastic through it, so I did it anyway. I also done it on the front fuselage sections as well, but again you don't need to do that. Little point here, with the jet tubes in front and rear, you will not see the pin marks, so you don't have to worry about them. Just make sure that they are below on your one. Mine are below the surface of the plastic, so no worries about them, but if they are higher I would suggest taking them down anyway, just in case it might interfere with the fit. Right, I'm just going to pop this apart now. Should I take those off there? And as you can see, there's a black hole done in there. I'm going to glue these up now and leave them to dry, and then I'm going to do the seaming on them before fitting the rest of it, so that these seams are out of the way. I don't have to worry about them too much. Again, I'm just going to fill up this hole here with a couple of dabs of glue and fit the two sides together. I know I'm teaching my grandmother to suck eggs, as the old saying goes, but I wanted to give a full video build of this, and I mean a full video build. I'll try to make sure I'm recording this time. Again, I'm putting the glue from the inside rather than the outside. Hopefully this will stop it marking the plastic on the outside, stop the glue stains coming on the outside. This glue is nice because it means you can just push it together and make sure that your joints are in line, and just hold it there for a few seconds, and it's actually grabbed it. Just for extra security, I'm going to put a band around the nose of this section here. If it go on, get on there, that's it. And just leave that like that. Again, come in from the sides here and let the capillary action do its job. And again on the base section by the wheel well, put that in there, and I'm just going to put a little tab just in the back here to get that joint there, and give that a little bit of a push there, just hold it in place, and that won't take long at all to dry. And as I've dry fitted these all together, oh hang on, I just forgot a piece here, just pop it in there and in there, and just make sure then that they're connected there and there. There we go. Like I said, I've dry fitted these together so I know they all fit. As you can see, it's now all glued up, and it's I'm going to leave it here to dry for a couple of hours, and I'll come back. I'm going to sand this joint smooth, and same with the underside joints as well. Okay, what I've done is taken a skinny sticks sander, and I've done the joints down the edge here, between here and this pin mark, this pin here, and between this pin and this pin and the end. I've just taken the small edge off just to make sure it doesn't interfere with anything. Again, this pin where it's joined together, I'm just giving that a little sand because there's there was a little mark on that. I can't feel it anymore, and that one I'll just give it a little couple of brushes over. Just that. You'll find that there is a mould line running around this section here, so it really has to be taken off. This side, again, I've done between these two pins and these two pins all the way along. I've done the end here as well to make sure that I've got a nice smooth joint between them. This end, however, the outside I can get to quite easily. That outside section, just give it a little bit of a aim to stop any interference, although I don't think there's any in that particular part. And this one here, it's almost virtually on the end here. I've also put some filler in last night all the way down the joints on the inside, just to make sure. I've just given that a wipe over the end, and the same here. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, who's he telling us all this about? Basically, what I'm doing is a full video build, as I said before. So if somebody gets one of these for Christmas, they'll be able to follow mine if they don't know how to build one of these. If it's sort of like the grandmother or grandfather's bought it for the grandson, and they've only built like a couple of 1/72 scale models, and they thought they'd buy this for their Christmas present, they'll be able to follow mine, and we get a reasonable job done of it at the end. Now, if you do get one for Christmas, it's a lovely one for a Christmas present. A lovely one to be under the tree. Nice big box. As I say, big box for Ron. That's too much Harry Potter for you. Sorry. I'm using a blade between these two. I can't get the sanding stick in there, but I'm just giving a quick scrape with the blade to make sure that they don't interfere with the fit. And there we have it. I'm just going to check this out. I know this fits okay, but I've got a lump there where I just cut it off and I haven't sanded it down, so I'm going to take that off there. And again, I'm just going to take the smooth side of the skinny stick here and just give it a light sanding over the top, just to take that mould line off, so I know there's nothing interfering with this going together. And so far it's worked. There's quite an intricate pattern in this here, and it fitted anyway. I know, as I've done the dry fit already, as you've seen in the previous video. But there is a little bit of a mould line just on the outside. I'm just taking that off a bit here, and again I'm just going to give this a bit of a run around with a skinny stick. Not much, just a quick wipe, just to take that little bit of the mould line off. Because it could actually interfere with this when you put this on here. That small mould line section could push this out slightly, and where the fuselage would actually pull it back in, these could be off a line for the wing alignment. So just taking those off there will ensure that this is all square. It's not going to be pushing out of it. That's basically what I'm going to do with all the rest of the tubes, even the longer ones here. Again, just take the mould line off, just make sure it's not interfering with anything at all. I'll hold it all in line. Right, what I've done is I've just put the former on here, clamp these two on here, and I'm just going to check the alignment again to make sure that that sanding I've done hasn't interfered with anything. And now the port side tube sits almost flush. There's still a little bit of a gap there, I don't know why. Oh, that's it. I've got a little bit of a mould line just on the bottom of this here, so I'm going to take that off. There. I'm not pressing too hard, I'm letting the sanding stick do the work. I'm just taking the small mould line just off in the centre there, and I'll put them back together again. Now that has gone. Now the joint is now tightened on there. Just that tiny little bit of a thing was holding it away. Okay, before I go any further, there's one more dry fitting piece that I want to try, and that is the nose cone. Now, I'll only go on one way, and pop that in there. Have a look. My God, it fits. Just a second. No, there's no steps in it whatsoever. It seems to be flush all the way around. Both directions, yes. Popping on the nose section after cleaning it up. You can't want for anything better than that, really. A couple of points is it doesn't actually say to put this on until part 92 or instruction 92 in the book, and they say to put the weight into here, this section. Let me put this down. It's not focusing. Stop doing that. You're not meant to be on auto. The weight should go in here according to the instructions. I would put the weight in here and then glue this on. So bring the weight forward of where they say, and put at least 30 grams in here, probably, or something like that. It's got to be like, they say 25 grams in the instructions, and it's to be placed in the fuselage section. So I would suggest putting at least 30-35 grams in the nose section rather than in here. This way the weight forward will actually increase its mass, and hopefully that will keep the weight down on the wheels. Plus, if you put it on there, you can get round it quite easily. Plus the band that goes around this. Oh, that's just, I just knocked off. The band that goes around the nose cone here is the same colour as the camouflage. The top half of the nose is black and the underside is green or dark green. If you think they're keeping that off and spraying that all black and put it on there, I suppose you could really, but if you're making the kit up, you might as well do it correctly. Once this is glued on there, you can mask this up and spray this black, do the other bits and pieces on the camo, and have a nice looking model. Anyway, I'm going to put that to one side now and get on with the jet tubes. Right, I'm just about ready to do these jet tubes now. I just thought I'll show you how to fix up something on here. I have a piece of wood here that's it's not quite long enough actually for this, but it'll do. I can go in from either end of the tubes. So, a piece of dowel, doesn't matter what it is. What I tend to do is I've got this sandpaper. It's about 220 grit. It's an older one. What I need to do is plop this down onto the end of the dowel. Now, you could glue it, you could tape it, but I've used this before and it does sometimes come off. So the best way I've found of doing it is using a staple. Pull the staple open and line up the pieces and put a couple of staples through the sandpaper into the dowel. Don't slam it on there, a gentle firm push and you get the staples on there and it's really fixed on there. Now wrap that around. If you don't have an electric drill, you could do this by hand, and basically what you're doing is this in here, but it's going to take a long time to do this in this method. What I tend to use is a drill. Right, first thing you have to do, just wrap up the sandpaper around the edge. Pop it into the tube you're going to do. I'll need a a bit more tighter in there. There we go. And then you can just start drilling through here. I'm going to up the speed on my drill because that's a bit slow. And gently move the tube backwards and forwards so that you can stand out the inside of the tube fairly easily. And you can see the dust coming off, I think. I can anyway. If I just stop there, you can see that here, I'll come in a bit, you can see here the filler that I'm taking off. It's very, very lightly being done. Being done very lightly, so you're not actually burning the plastic or anything like that. Just keep it moving. Now I'm going to come in from the other side, because this doesn't... I'll have a quick look down there actually what I've just done, and it seems to be working fine. I'll put this in this end here. And we'll move it up and down. Keep it moving, don't leave it in one spot too long. And you soon have a nice neat internal joint. There's the inside of the tube. As you can see, it's now fairly smooth inside there after the first application. Right, as you see, it's quite smooth in there. This paper is more coarse than usual because this is actually a DIY sheet of paper that I got, sandpaper. If you want a really smooth finish in here, I would suggest a second application. Now this time I've taken a piece of Tamiya sanding paper and I've cut it across, and this time I'm going to use it lengthways in the tube so I could do the whole tube in one go. Again, roll it up and you can pop that in there and it will come out both ends. Right, and as you can see now, with the Tamiya tape you get a nice polished effect inside the tube. One way of getting a smooth, seamless jet tube method. There are others, and I've tried them. I've tried several of them. This is the best way for me at the moment with these tubes because they are straight tubes. If you've got a bent tube, there's a different method of using that, and when I get to it I'll show you that one. But that's all my jet tubes done now. Get on with the rest of the build. Okay, now I've filled it and I've given it a good polish all the way over the underside. As you can see there, it's a nice shine finish on it. I'll get it done now while I can get in there nice and easy with the polishing stick, as you can see. So it's now done. If it stops. Right, it's now done. You can see the amount of filler I actually put in there. It's a gnat's whisker of filler all the way down there and at that joint there. I did this because this is going to have a metal finish on it, and I wanted to make sure that when I've done it there is no imperfections in this piece of plastic. I will go over the whole bottom section like this, so when I've finished I won't have any fingerprints on it, there'll be no glue stains because they show through dramatically on a metal finish. As you can see here, I've now glued the tubes in as well. I've glued them onto the former and it's all ready to fit into the fuselage now. There's the bottom section. of dust out there. This is now ready to be fitted in here, and just before I go out to do a little bit of shopping, I'm going to run the glue around here. Oh, by the way, I always do this to my models. I put my monogram in and the date, just the month, not the actual day that I've started the model. I don't know why I do it. I've always done it. I think when I actually started doing this, it was because I was in a model club at school, and we were always told to put our names on the stuff, so that's why I used to do it. I've never stopped doing it, you see, so like I said, all my models have that in somewhere. Right, just leave that slightly apart at the moment. Okay. I hope you see that. I don't know what you did actually. I was deemed a bit too close, but I put some glue on here now, and I've glued everything in place, and I'm just holding it there while I can get everything done. I'm going to have to, I didn't want to, but I think I'm going to have to put some glue on the outside of this bit of the model. Try to be very careful with it. I'll get a smaller brush. Let's use this one here. I'm just going to use a smaller brush on this. So all I want to do is just a small fillet of cement. If I'll just touch it on the corner there, it should technically go all the way down the side. Oh, I can get it from the inside there. There we go. That one just fits the joint nicely in there. Do the same to this side. As I said, all the marks of this one, any glue marks will have to be taken off, because it will show through the metal finish. So don't try and whack a great big load right across it. If it was a camo pattern all over, yeah, you could do that, no trouble at all. It wouldn't matter at all. But with the metal finishes, as I said, they show up every tiny little mark and defect. I don't actually have to fill this in completely, because it is actually a panel line. Give it a blow. That'll take the surface off. Any bits that got on the surface there, we'll take that off. And there we have that piece done. Right, that's the bottom edge done. I'm making sure that I've got it lined up. There's no step in it. No, that's fine. That's fine. Right, leaving that for a second. Right, sorry about this. Camera's thrown a wobbly. I don't know what's happened to it. It was recording fine, and then all of a sudden it's recording, but there's nothing on the hard drive. Actually, it got placed on a different part of the hard drive when I started recording a second time. But I missed all the build. I am absolutely gutted. Anyway, I'm going to describe it to you. You saw me putting on the front section here onto the bottom. I've got that video. Basically, it's the same with the whole thing. The only thing I did differently, I'm going to have to tell you about, is the rear end tubes. Wait. I'm messing up my bed now. The rear end tubes. has been done differently, slightly differently. What I did is I had to glue in the bearer first. Then I put the port tube on. And then I put the bulkhead in the back here and made sure it was all married up. It's fine. So I then put the starboard tube in with the bulkhead and glued the whole thing in together. Popped the top on to make sure that the bulkhead was level top and bottom. That went fine. Everything was in there, and I just ran around all the edges with liquid cement all the way around, making sure that the joints were level. There's no step in the joints. So and taped it up, and I've left it here to dry while I'm going to do some shopping. Right, thank you for your subscriptions and your comments, they've been great. This is the end of part 2. See you in part 3. So for now, it's from him, it's goodbye. For me, it's goodbye. See you all soon. Keep up the modelling. Bye for now.